to this edition of Appalachian Trail Talk. This is, for me, leg number 23. It takes place on the 22nd of April, and it's also day 22 in my flip-flop attempt videos. If you want to go watch this section video-wise. Anyway, you might remember I had to do a layover here in Fayetteville to overcome some food poisoning. Then I did a slack pack from Shippensburg down with Pogo, and then I went to urgent care and took that day off. Now I'm back here at Shippensburg the next day, heading northbound again. And this is a very, very beautiful hike through here. There's some really nice trail that you experience. Now this midpoint here, there is a monument I'm going to show you, which is the famous one everybody takes their picture at. But there will also be a little placard. I saw the 2016 one, but I missed the 2017 one. It just started, I think it started sprinkling, and I was distracted. And when I got down to, I think one of the shelters I'd mentioned I hadn't seen it, and the other people down there said they had, so it was just me missing it. So for each of your years, so 2018 here for these folks going out, there'll probably be a separate little placard for you guys. Or if the trail distance is the same this year, it might be the same as the 2017. But then there's another one that's the famous one that you'll get to see. And well, let me show you those now. Let me show you what some of the trail looks like through this part of Pennsylvania to the midpoints. There's, I think, 3 pictures coming up. As you can see, the trail is relatively flat, and it's actually that way. There's not a whole lot of rocks through here. A little bit of a descent down into Tom's Run, and the bridge that was on my intro slide was right here. It's the water source for Tom's Run shelter. When I got there, I think I took an early lunch because it was raining, and they had a really nice pavilion over the picnic tables there and in that shelter area, and it was kind of nice. And there's some other folks there that were taking a break and eating, and it was nice to be able to do that not in the rain. Once from there, it was just a very, very nice hike that day. Here at Pine Grove Furnace, I met a man by the name of Aleve, Carl Graves. He also has a YouTube channel. He started out like me in 2016. He made it to Fayetteville and had to get off for a knee injury that ended up resulting in a knee replacement, and he was now out with his new knee. And he hiked the whole distance from Fayetteville to Pine Grove Furnace in one hike. So I mean, that's pretty significant, since that was his first day back out hiking with the new knees. So if you really needed to go from Fayetteville all the way to Pine Grove, I think it can be done. I ended up, because, I got down mid-morning to Fayetteville, and then that next day was a full hike. I think it could be done. I'm a little bit slower hiker, maybe not for me, but if you're young, that's probably not a problem at all to be able to make that distance. Now here at Pine Grove Furnace, this is the home of the Gallon Challenge ice cream. Okay, now this time of year, April, only been on the trail not that long, wasn't that craving calories that badly, so I had no desire to do the challenge. However, they have a really great snack bar here in the McMaster's Hostel where I stayed is right near the AT Museum, which is also right near where the snack bar is. And honestly, the snack bar is there for hikers. They get very little business from people visiting the park, but they do get a lot of business from the hikers. So if you're there, go in and do that. There's, like I said, a great snack bar. I had a great hamburger. It wasn't that expensive. So, go in there and support them and get a good meal. Now, the hostel there, they have a deal. I think it's like $25 to stay there. It's $3 for laundry. I think another maybe $5 or so, or maybe a little more if you want to have a pizza and a Coke that night. Now, It all depends probably on the particular caretaker that's there that year. This last year in 2017, the pizza was a Totino. Were Totino's pizzas. Okay, so not your, not your high quality, you know, bake in the oven pizza. And so I was kind of glad I'd gone over and actually had the hamburger before the meal that night. But you may want to do both still. It just depends on what you like. Let me see. I've got a couple photographs here, if you'd like, of, let's see, it's a view from the balcony at the hostel in the morning, as well as a shot of the AT Museum in the background. So there's two photographs I'm going to insert here. Hey, coming as you're hiking through the state park, I notice there's no camping, okay, within 1 mile of there. So you pretty much have to either stop soon or you've got to go further past. And as long as you can get some water while you're in the there's plenty of streams you're going to be crossing as you come through here. There is a couple of dry campsites you can go to, and this is a very easy climb, very nice, very beautiful, nice trail. Pine trees. This is part of the hike that is just really enjoyable in Pennsylvania. It makes you almost want to fall in love with the state until you get to Duncannon. So, anyway, come up here and then you start back down again. I know you've got to go over to get to the campground. I never bothered to go that far. I don't really remember the shelter because it was 0.2 east. May have gone over there, may not have. I don't remember it that much. You kind of descend back down again, and once again, it's not that rough of a trail. There is some railroad tracks that you cross, and somewhere in here, maybe it's here. Yeah, the store in Delhi. I tried to go find it. I couldn't find it. Very disappointed. And so I got back on the trail and headed out and got down to a stream, and there was another camper that was down here, and this was Aliv, the man I just mentioned. And he kind of held up short that day because the day prior was kind of long for him with his new knee. And I was kind of tired too, and kind of disappointed I didn't find that deli in that store. So I said, to heck with it. So I just camped here, and then a couple other campers came in, and so this is actually a very nice place to camp. A lot of nice flat sites, plenty of trees for hammocking, and plenty of water. Once you cross over the footbridge here, you pretty quickly come to something called the Rock Maze, which you start to climb up to it. It's not that high of a climb, and then it's just a ridgeline with huge boulders that you kind of go between and go around and go over some and back down again. And it's not like a squeeze type thing, but it is a lot of kind of up and going down and moving around and backtracking and a little bit of squeezing through and then jumping down and throwing poles up, and it's kind of fun. It's not super technical. But it is a lot of fun. And there's a couple little bypasses. If something's a little bit too rough, you can do a bypass. And anyway, here's a picture of as you're coming up to the beginning of the Rock Maze. Okay, as you can see here, it's about a 0.4 that the Rock Maze lasts. So it's not too bad. Once again, it's a little technical, not super technical, and I would actually call it fun, if you will. Okay, so the Rock Maze, we get through that, and now notice there's some more. There's a no camping restriction in the Cumberland Valley, and the Cumberland Valley is a long, long, long valley. Okay, it's like 30 some miles. Okay, and there is water. Easiest probably to be broken up by Boiling Springs if you want, and Carlisle Barracks, which is where we went and stayed. Okay, so you probably want to break this up a little bit in the Cumberland Valley since you cannot camp there. You do have the shelter that you can go to right at the beginning. Down into well, let's see, the center point knob. I guess this is the historic center point of the trail when they first mapped it out, and it's got a nice plaque there. Let me show you what that looks like. As you come kind of out of the mountains and you come down into the valley, it does flatten out. You're walking along the edge of a lot of fields and into Boiling Springs. There is a backpackers campground here, which is on the edge of town, and that's where I was going. That's where I had planned to go. But I started hiking with Aleve through here, and we decided just go into Boiling Springs, and I can always come back to the campground. And if you look on the little map here in the AT guide, it's only about I don't even think it's not even a mile to backtrack to the campsite. Anyway, we get into Boiling Springs, and we visited the outfitter there. Very nice outfitter. There's a couple little grocers to do a resupply if you wanted to, or if you needed to. There's a pizza place there, and he and I went and we had some pizza together and split that. And then he had the idea of, why don't we get a ride to Carlisle, okay, and then have that, and then call, and then arrange to have us picked up the next morning, brought back here, and we'll slack pack back to Carlisle Barracks, and that way we'll just get a hotel for the 2 nights. And so that sounds like a great idea. Now that really wasn't a long distance. I think it's only about 8 miles. But that made just kind of a nice, easy, restful day, and he needed it with his knee. So I said, yeah, let's do that. So we split the cost of a shuttle to come pick us up and take us up to Carlisle. Now we each got our own rooms. We're old guys and retired, and we don't need to necessarily be sharing the cost of rooms. But so we each got our own room. The next day we got picked up. Got taken back down here, dropped off at the ATC there in Boiling Springs, and went in and visited with them. And then I think I might have a picture of that. Let me go ahead and throw that in here now. Of you'll see the Appalachian Trail Center behind me in the photograph. All right, now, in considering Pennsylvania and outfitters, the one in Boiling Springs I think is your largest one, and has the most stuff. It also has the Orvis fly fishing outfit there with it. Okay, so it's a very nice outfitter. The next outfitter you're going to come to is a very small one, but capable one that's in Delaware Water Gap. So if you need to go to an outfitter, now I take that back. Technically, in Port Clinton, just the little town that's next to Port Clinton is the biggest Cabela's in the world. As far as what's in it, it's not any different than a normal Cabela's or a Bass Pro Shop. It's just that everything's more spread out, and it's just more square footage. But it's not that they have any more stuff. So you can get some things there if you need to, as far as outfitting go. But you have to go off trail to go down there and get that. So you're going to walk right by the outfitter. Okay, literally right by the outfitter. All right. Now, this slack packing day, we still did this northbound, and once again, this is a very easy trail, and a lot of some stream crossings, a lot of fields, really pretty as we come through here. I've got I think 5 photographs here. I'm going to show you what that looks like, kind of going through the fields and seeing all of the streams and the little bridges and things like that, okay? Okay, when you leave Carlisle, once again, you're still in the Cumberland Valley, and this is where you have a lot of the stream crossings, your fence styles, and things that you go over as you continue to to march out across the valley. And once again, this is relatively a nice trail. And then you pretty much are getting to the end of the valley here, okay, and you're going to start a climb up towards the Darlington Shelter, which is the end of the Cumberland Valley. Now let me show you what some of that trail looked like up to that point. Okay, so if you could make it across the valley, you might want to note that seasonally, it could be a dry water source there, so you make sure you bring your water in from there, because it's going to be a while before you get down to this footstring bridge. Now, Aleve and I, we stopped for lunch here. He decided he was having problems with his Sawyer filter, and he wanted to try and get all the way to Duncannon to be able to get that replaced. I had planned on stopping at Cove Mountain Shelter because I wanted to be able to go down and have a Nero day to do laundry and do my resupply before I left the next day. So he went ahead and went in, so he stayed that night. I stopped at Cove Mountain Shelter, and I can't remember if it rained, but it was really foggy the next morning when it was time to leave. And I do remember packing up a wet tent, or at least a dew-laden tent. And let me show you, I've got a couple of pictures of what the trail looked like that next morning. Okay, everybody asks, well, where do the rocks start? Said the rocks start here. That's pretty close, because you do start up and you do start getting into the rocks. And then the rocks are really starting. And of course you got your Hawk Rock view here, and then notice this drop. This drop right here is a 0.7. This is a knee killer. Okay, coming down here, this is a knee killer. And notice that it comes back up and comes back down. It's hard to see because it's kind of disguised here. Well, guess what I did? As I came down, the predominant trail kept going down. And the AT made a little right turn at a Y and went back up this hill. So by the time I got all the way down here, I found myself down on a road that I didn't know where I was at. So I had to hike back up, probably almost another 400 feet in elevation change, to then make that right turn and come back up. So there's a little tricky spot right here if you're not paying attention, which I wasn't. And then you come back down again to the road. And now you're going to have some road walking into Duncannon. You're going to cross over a really cool bridge where there's a flag flying over the river there. Let me kind of show you. Well, let me show you the pictures of the trees first. Okay, I said I was going to throw a picture of the trees in the fog, and I already did that. So what I did is I showed you that bridge crossing, kind of coming into Duncannon. There's a bridge in the distance, as you saw, and then there's the one you cross over as you're coming into town. So there's a little bit of road walk involved here. So, and this is it. So as you come down from down that hard climb, you're going to come down into town, and you're gonna jump on this road, okay? And let's see, I think, yeah, there's a Sunoco here where I stopped in and grabbed a snack and a soda and took a little bit of a break, and then you get across under an overpass. And I think that photograph that I took was up somewhere in here. It's not, you don't see the bridge crossing on the map on the stream. But you come down here, and there's an underpass that you have to go over, and then you kind of enter into the old main street down here, if you will. And then the Doyle is, I mean, the AT does make a turn, but the Doyle is sitting right there on the corner. There's a couple of places to eat. There's a laundry. And my idea of coming in and getting in early was a bad one, in that it would have been better maybe from the Darlington shelter versus Cove to come in that day. I got here early enough that the Doyle was closed. They don't open up till the afternoon. So I said, okay, I'll go do my laundry. Well, there's no place to change, to do laundry in here. I mean, it's just like a room. You can't, there's cameras in there that basically tell you, not, don't take off your clothes. And so it's like, well, shoot. So I ended up spending most of that Nero sitting on the sidewalk at the Doyle waiting for them to open so I could get a room, which then took a little while because they had to go get them clean, and then take my laundry down and get it done, and it just kind of turned out to be a waste. Now, this Metz and Bums Market's a nice market to resupply. Notice it's 0.6 from this bridge, but this is a really super dangerous road. I do not recommend you walk it. So what it is at the Doyle, if you get about 3 or 4 people, they'll call, and one of the employees will come down in their car and pick you up and take you back, and then when you're ready to go, they'll bring you back. Okay, so it's really nice service that they offer. However, like what probably Aleve did, I think, he just came in and he went over to the little Quick Mart and did his resupply, which is not too far. You're going to walk right past it anyway on the trail. Had I had the chance to do this all over again, I probably would have gone ahead and walked in with Aleve and probably, got the room, did my resupply here, went down to the laundry, and then been ready to go. Okay, I kind of wish I'd done that. Now, as you notice, the post office is pretty much on the way here. Let's see. Here's the post office. So you're actually gonna come up here on the high street, but if you stayed down on the main street, you got the post office there. This is a really pretty neighborhood walk. This is all road walk. There were a lot of flowering bushes and lilacs and everything else like that. So this is a long road walk. Now notice there is a couple other places to stay. You got your Stardust here. You've got your Red Carpet Inn. I thought one of them had closed maybe last year because there were some people that were going to, I think it was Furby and Cowboy were going to head up here, and for some reason they ended up also down at the Doyle. I couldn't remember what happened. So they still ended up back down at the Doyle. Now there is a little campground up here, which is a paid campground. What you don't know is this little Riviera Tavern in the cabin here. This is a strip joint. You're not going to get a whole, so if you come up here thinking you're going to get some sleep, you're not going to sleep that night. Okay, it's really noisy. So I think you're kind of stuck with the Doyle or maybe these 2 hotels here. It's a long way to get to a place to camp. Okay, because once you get done here, you're going to go over the Susquehanna River. This is a really pretty view, and I'll show that to you next time. Across this bridge, a long rising climb, and then you get into some really nasty rocks. And somewhere along here is like the knife edge along this stretch through here. So anyway, so that's what kind of Duncannon looks like. It's a really cool town. It would be nice if maybe there was a kind of a GoFundMe account for the Doyle to kind of help them do some restoration there, because it is kind of falling into disrepair, but they're doing the best they can. And hey, it's historical. Go in there and give them some support. If you don't want to stay there the night, at least go in and get a meal there at the bar. I had a pretty good meal, pretty good food. So, all right, everybody, that's pretty much it. And so now the rocks start in Pennsylvania, and off we go running. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.